Hi Bookends! Welcome to this week's 10-minute book review. I'm 10. So, I have a headache and I am tired. And so that's why it looks like I have a lazy eye. I don't have a lazy eye. It only does this when I have a bad headache and I'm tired. I seem to always have a headache nowadays. Not a bad one, but I always seem to have a headache. So I guess I'm just ducking it through life right now. Yeah. Anyway, this week's book review is going to be on Here and Now and Then by Michael Chen. Now, this was one of the highly anticipated science fiction releases of 2019. So, of course, as soon as I saw it on the list and then saw that it was going to be available at Barnes & Nobles, I jumped to get it. So, yeah, let's get started. So, the main players in this book are Chen, who is a time-traveling kind of like CIA agent. Kind of like Sidney Bristow, if Sidney Bristow was a black man who traveled through time. And his wife is Heather, who is a nice lady with red hair who can't cook. His daughter is Miranda, who is, just typical teen. His best friend is, what is that man's name again? I'm sorry, I kind of sped read through this book. Marcus. His best friend's named Marcus. And Marcus's sister is named Penny. So, starting from the beginning, Chen comes to 1996, I believe it is, looking for a woman who is an assassin who came from his time, which is 2140, I believe. I believe he's from 2140, 2240, something like that. 2142. He's from 2142. And the assassin is too. She's looking to... Well, actually, I don't really think she's an assassin. She's just trying to keep a senator from passing a vote so that some other stuff can happen in his time. Long story short, he finds her. They fight. She shoots him in the gut to get rid of his time-traveling beacon. And so he cracks her neck because he's mad. I don't know. I think because... if she goes back to the present while he's stuck in the past, she can always come back again and he won't be able to do anything about it. So dude gotta go. So yeah, he ends up killing her, and the beacon inside of him is placed there so that he can be retrieved by his unit in the future. Like the people from the future can come back to the past and come retrieve him should he ever get stuck. But she damaged it by shooting him, and so he has no choice but to cut it out because it's leaking some kind of fluid into him and making him infected. So while he's stuck in 1996, his memories start to degenerate. His memories of 2142 start to degenerate. So he starts to forget whole sections of his life, like who his parents are, how his childhood was, things about his teenage life, personal things about himself he starts to forget. He ends up meeting a woman by the name of Heather, because he still remembers that he's from the future and he knows he has to survive, so he's doing what he can. And once he figures out nobody's coming for him after like 2 or 3 weeks, he figures no one's coming for him, he starts doing things to survive, like he gets a job and basically he starts leaving a footprint. Now these agents from the future, they're not supposed to leave any form of footprint in the past, because then that can in some way alter the future as well. Chen is like, bruh, you ain't come for me, so I need to do myself. Like, I need to do me now. So he meets a woman by the name of Heather. They fall in love. They get married. They have a child. They live that typical life, She works, he works, they work, they have a house, they have a child. He's forgetting more and more about his past, which is really in the future, but he's becoming okay with that because this is the life that he wants to live now with his family. Fast forward 16 years, because the book takes us to 2014. He has is it 16 years then? From 96 to... Anyway, fast forward, he has a 14-year-old daughter. by the name of Miranda, and she and her mother find him passed out in the garage. So apparently, whenever he goes to remember something from his past or future, it causes him to, I guess, have some kind of seizure of some sort. And he gets a really bad headache and passes out. They believe, he told them that he had bad PTSD from being in a war, and that he grew up in an orphanage, and so that's his cover story as to why he can't remember his family and why he can't talk about his past, right? So yeah, he's also a cook too, like not a real cook, like a home cook, like cooks at home. And yeah, so they're trying to insist about him getting therapy. He doesn't really feel like it, but he's nice about it. Like, he's not confrontational. He sees some dude outside looking around, and he's like, oh, UPS? I ain't ordering nothing. There's no UPS truck out there. So his agent muscle memory, like, you know, he doesn't remember a lot of things, but he remembers being an agent, you know, so that muscle memory is still there. So he kind of confronts the guy, and the guy's like, oh, no, nothing, bye. And later on, he's talking to his daughter, and he sees the same dude outside. And so he kind of stalks the guy a little bit, and the guy, I guess, okay, so it turns out, let's just cut to the chase. Turns out the guy is an agent from the future, and he's also Ken's friend. And as it turns out, even though Ken has been in the past, it's 18 years. Even though Ken's been in the past for 18 years, in the future he's only been missing for 2 weeks. So in the future, where Ken's from, he was 32. In the future, people don't age as quickly. I think most people die at the age of 200 because of some kind of technology that we discovered. So people don't age as quickly. Ken, in 1996 to 2014, aged normally. So he looks like he's like 50. Yeah, he looks like he's like 50. So his friend is looking like, bro, what happened? Because they're not used to people aging so quickly. Anyway, so Marcus, his friend, tells him, okay, listen, you know, I'm here to bring you back. And he's like, bruh, I don't want to go back. I got a family here. I got kids. And Marcus is kind of taken back because Marcus is like, I can't tell you about your life. That has to come back to you. But also, all this over here ain't gonna work. So Ken's left with a decision. He's in the book, he's not given a decision, but for real, like reading it, he has a decision. Either go back to the future, or try to run or protect his family. He decides to go back to the future, and the reason why is because he knows that one of the rules of being a time traveling cop is that if a situation cannot be fixed, then it must be completely eliminated, which would mean killing off Heather and Miranda and quite possibly him. So he goes to the future, back to the future, and finds out that he has a fiance. Woo. So in the past, when he was in the hotel, like, because he went to a hotel, like a safe house, to take the device out of him that was damaged, and he saw a penny behind a toilet, and I'm like, ew, door, you going behind a motel toilet, ew. But anyway, he saw a penny behind a toilet, and he was like, oh, you know, this is my lucky penny. He goes into the future, and he takes his lucky penny with him everywhere. He goes into the future, and he finds out he has a fiance by the name of Penny. Yeah. So he had forgotten all about Penny's existence. Penny was one of the things that left him. According to the doctors, they said the first thing to go are personal memories. You know something else that's interesting about this book? I mean, it's kind of off topic, but apparently in the future, people drink their coffee with honey, which, you know, I guess is interesting. It's not horrible. Like, they have honey right at Starbucks if you want to put in your coffee. But also, it's like everybody uses chopsticks because, like, that's so futuristic. In all honesty, having chopsticks isn't the most futuristic way of eating. you know, it's not the most convenient way of eating. Because first of all, you can't eat everything with chopsticks. And secondly, if you lose one chopstick, you're screwed. I would think sporks would probably be the utensil of the future. Just there's nothing that you can't eat with a spork. A well-made spork. And it's just one utensil, so you don't have to have like 2 objects to be able to eat something. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's the world that Mike Chen created, so we're living in Mike Chen's world. So when he gets to the future, he finds out that his wife Heather died of brain cancer not too long after he left, a couple of months after he left. And then he finds out that his daughter's life ends up taking a downward spiral. She starts doing drugs and eventually commits vehicular homicide and is sent to prison in her 30s. And so he's like, oh no, Miranda, I must save Miranda. This book is very anticlimactic. And I felt a little duped. You know, I'm sorry. I went into all this and I didn't even say what star grade we give it or what rating. So let me go there. Star grade, we give it out of 10 stars. This is a 3-star book. Out of 10 stars, it gets 3 stars. And for a rating, I would say PG. There's not much going on in there. It's about as loud as a Lifetime movie. There are like 2 or 3 curse words in it, but I really feel like the author put that in there kind of to give it an edge, not because the curses actually meant anything. And I guess they were well placed in a way that it made sense. Anyway, for me, this book felt flat because in the description it says, you know, he's like this time traveling agent. He's in the past and now he has to find a way to save his daughter, right? So I'm thinking there's action in this book. The most action that there is in this book is at the beginning of it when him and the other woman from the future are fighting. And that's like, what, 3 pages? It's not even, so you're not live when it's happening. You're with him when he's reminiscing while he's cutting this thing out of him. That's the most action that's in this book. Most of it is inner monologuing, a thought, and talking. You know, like, he saves his daughter by emailing her and stuff. You know, to say, hey, daddy still loves you. That kind of a thing. I'm always going to be here for you. And I felt like the author could have done so so much more with this. So one of the things in the story, when he feels that he's losing his memory, he starts writing down facts from the future, schematics, plans, how machines work, how time travel works, things like that. His daughter finds the book that he wrote down. He wrote it down like back in the 90s. His daughter finds it, you know, when she's like 14. She's like, Dad, this stuff is awesome. He tries to tell us like a science fiction thing, don't worry about it. And his daughter is into Doctor Who, so, you know, time travel is right up her alley. The author, I feel like, okay, so she takes the information that her father had and she ends up making a video game out of it. One possible timeline is that she goes to jail for vehicular homicide. But once he starts sending her the emails and stuff to the past, then her timeline, her life changes and she becomes a video game programmer using the information that he had written down. I'm like, this is so flip-dipping tame. Like, it's so tame. Like, why didn't she try to build her own time machine and go looking for him and mess something up because she went looking for him and did the wrong thing? And that's how he finds out that she's still alive because she ruined the pyramids. Or because, you know, something. Or maybe like, she's so mad at him that she starts time traveling and finds out what he did for a living. And she becomes an assassin to get back at him. And she's like the best assassin. And he's sent to hunt down her. Or worse, he knows that people are being sent to hunt down her. And he has to find her and change her before she gets killed. That would have been interesting. That doesn't happen though. Basically, it follows a typical pattern of a parentless child. Like, oh, she does drugs. Oh, she flunks out of college. oh, she gets into, like, it's just, oh, she goes to jail. Like, it's just, it goes through the typical steps of what people would believe would happen to a fatherless and a motherless child, like child with no direction. You know, and then when her father steps back into her life, it follows another typical pattern of, I'm mad at you. Arg, spite, spite, spite. You know, it was like reading a Lifetime movie in a bad way. It was, it wasn't what I thought. It felt like a contemporary book disguised as a science fiction novel. Because it wasn't really, the only thing that made it science fiction, honestly, was that it was placed in the future and that it used technology in a limited way. And I say limited because it didn't feel techy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people prefer their science fiction to only be a touch of science fiction. And if that's what you prefer, then Mike Chen's book is for you. I personally, that's not what I signed up for. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to go on a roller coaster ride, and I barely got on a Ferris wheel. And plus, I can't understand why Heather and Penny liked him. At least for Heather, he cooked for her, but for Penny, I don't understand. She was just like a dumping ground for him emotionally. The only good thing he ever did was find gullible women who believed lies easily. You know, Heather ate up his lies, Penny ate up his lies, Miranda ate up his lies. You know, he offered Penny nothing, just straight nothing. Like, there was nothing. If the author had somehow indicated that he was a good listener, or a good lover, or a good provider, like just something to say, these women love this man because, but we got none of that. I don't know why. I definitely don't know why Penny liked him. Like, she had a boyfriend and 2 weeks later she had a daddy. Like, I don't, because he looked so old. So I don't know why she liked him. I don't know. And then Heather's death felt so convenient. It was so flipping convenient. It was like, okay, well, now Heather's dead. There's no romantic ties to the past. So now he can be with Penny with no problems. But if you've been with someone for 18 years, right, and loved this person, so it wasn't like they had a bad relationship, been with someone for 18 years, got a 14-year-old kid, find out that they died from brain cancer, and you're just kind of like, ooh, well, that's all in the past. There was nothing likable about Ken. Nothing at all likable about him. The other characters are so, they were paper mache thin. They were like lace thin. Like, they all felt like afterthoughts. Basically, I felt like the author put up a board, kind of like a Pinterest board, and just figured out a story, figured out what the main character's name was going to be, and then just added peripheral characters around that person. Instead of creating actual people, just putting peripheral characters. Kind of like, you know, like the story about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. How we don't know what happened with the other reindeers. Just know that they had names and they didn't like Rudolph. We don't know, you know, what was this one's nose? What was Dasher's nose color? You know, what was Dick Nixon's, you know, problem? Did he have blue eyes? Does Dad leave? No, we don't know anything about the other reindeer. We just know they exist. They're peripheral characters to Rudolph, who was the main character. And that's what it feels like in this book. Ken is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Everyone else is just a peripheral. They have no substance. So, yeah, did not like this book. I really want to. I really wish I had. It was a quick read only because I was rushing to get through it to see if there was anything going to happen. I even got the audiobook for it to kind of speed things along because I wanted to know, was anything going to happen? Absolutely nothing happens. Nothing. You know, there's a happy ending, so that's nice, but I would say if you're going to get this book, wait till it goes on sale on Amazon, get it on Kindle. There's not that much of an urgency to get it. If it was a movie, I would be disappointed in paying for the ticket. And after reading this book, if it became a movie, then I wouldn't watch it.
Plug it back in.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, Bookends. Bye.